I'll cut to the chase. If interested in my opinion and experience plus a tiny bit on the Ace of Aces books these are based on that will be at the end of the video after the actual books/game. If you can't stand the text-to-speech voice you can skip to either 11 minutes in for the TIE Interceptor book instructions or 30.5 minutes in to read the instructions in the X-Wing book. If you learn by example there are 3 sample games played at a little over 5 minutes into this video. Bookmarks to get to specific pages of the books can be found in the video description. Each page is shown for 5 seconds. At most basic this is played with you as in 2 people, starting at page 170. You choose a move. Remember the letter but tell the other person the page number that goes with that move and they will tell you the page number of their chosen move. You each turn to the page the other person told you then you turn from that page to the page that matches the letter of the move you decided. You should both end up at the same page after that second page change. Note that on that first page turn on to the number the other player told you the only thing that matters is the move list on the bottom of the page. Ignore the rest. Be aware there are typos in this book, I fixed a few but I know more exist. So, if you don't wind up on matching pages it isn't necessarily your fault. The one OK page mismatch is it is possible for one player to be on page 223 and in that case you are to go to the other player's end move page. The state of things on that second page turn is where and when things in the game occur. You will automatically attack when the other player is directly in front of you. You will automatically receive damage if the other player is facing you. You've 12 hit points. If hit directly from behind in close range it is an instant game over. Otherwise just subtract from 12 what the damage messages tell you, until you reach 0. I've included an image of the hex grid with green, where you will attack and the values of the damage given and on the other side red for, where it will be received. The X-Wing has taken 5 damage in that image. You should confirm with the other player that they see the equivalent. Essentially both sides should announce any damage or attack, and if a warning or lock-on message that is on their page. Also, if both players end up on page 223 it is also a game over, as the ships have lost sight of each other. The warning message on the collision pages is just flavor and has no gameplay meaning somewhat unlike the other times warning is shown. An additional rule but one that is of questionable value is the hint lock-on system. If you see lock-on message on the end page of your move twice or more in a row and the other player isn't locking on you, then they are to give you a hint of their next planned move in the form of either telling you the letter of their planned move or the letter either directly before or after it. For example, if they choose to use move G they can tell you hint H. The almost half-map filling green area in the image of the hex map I show is where a lock-on occurs and yellow area on the other side is where a warned that you are locked on is received. The shown hex maps are to help you understand what is actually going on but don't need to be understood to play the game. The moves are a bit cryptic if going by how the book describes them though so here are how they actually match the hex grid. Just remember that move is relative to the direction you are facing. The X-Wing's D move is a null move as in just standing still. I suggest just avoiding moves that have 223 attached. If you don't have someone to try to play this with, I'm going to suggest people put a move in the comments and try to interact, exchange moves that way. That written or said please don't invoke me, I've spent over 100 hours putting this video together. I'm personally pretty burned out on this game.
Page 53.
Page 64.
Warning, 8 damaged. Page 188.
Page 10.
Page 16.
Page 57.
Lock on. Page 36.
Page 3.
Lock on. 8 attack.
Hint D.
Page 2.
Page 50.
Warning, lock on. Page 13.
Page 13.
Page 187.
Page 15.
Warning, lock on. Page 26.
Page 198.
Page 17.
Page 19.
Page 187.
Page 188.
Page 198.
Page 209.
Page 187.
Page 48.
Lock on. 6 attack.
Page 27.
Page 137.
Warning, lock on, 6, damaged, 6, attack. Page 20.
Page 90.
Page 23.
Page 195.
Lock on. Page 10.
Page 53.
Lock on.
Hint P.
Page 198.
Page 80.
Lock on.
Hint G.
Page 198.
Page 91.
Lock on.
Hint V.
Page 16.
Page 81.
Lock on.
Hint G.
Page 18.
Page 147.
Lock on.
Hint P.
Page 24.
Page 45.
Lock on.
Hint V.
Page 187.
Page 112.
Lock on.
Hint C.
Page 198.
Page 57.
Lock on. 6, attack.
Hint R.
Page 27.
Page 112.
Lock on. Page 205.
Page 105.
Lock on.
Hint H.
Page 205.
Page 209.
Page 91.
Page 214.
So, as mentioned in the first part, there are typos in this book. More than just typos but whole incorrect illustrations. X-Wing pages 19 and 30's illustrations were swapped and 3 others were the mirror of what they should have been. These would be pretty critical bugs if this was a video game. Then there are the typos. It isn't like a prose novel, where it is mostly just a pedantic annoyance. These downright break parts of the game, if you happen upon one. These are essentially crash bugs, if this was software. I know there are more from my video game conversion, but as mentioned, I'm already so sick of correcting mistakes in these books that I just let the video game version let me know there was a problem and then restart the game. Most of the hours spent were on taking the photos of the pages and making them less distorted and a generally uniform scale. This was the first time I did such a project and I suspect it will be the last. If I was willing to destroy the books and just scan the pages, it would have been nicer looking and quicker, but I wanting to keep these books as books. I only a few months ago discovered that this was a thing. The same goes for the Ace of Aces books, that these are essentially reskins of. The Ace of Aces books have much more involved optional rule sets. I've only looked briefly into the Ace of Aces books so far, since I was so busy with this project. The B-roll footage of the books is from after I photographed the pages. Unfortunately, I still ended up damaging the spines quite a bit, but at least they are still intact and playable as books. I love the concept of these. A real shame that it seems zero effort went into playtesting and checking for errors. I actually designed and third-printed a book holder opener, and while I still did make use of it, I realized that it would have been better to have it at a 100-degree or so angle and not try to keep it flat open. I used the book holder opener to hold one side down, while I kept the other half open with one of my hands and leaving one free to operate the camera. Anyway, back to the Ace of Aces books. There are things like fuel and altitude in the more advanced rule sets, plus more role-playing aspects like pilots and different planes. In truth, I find it overwhelming. That stuff is optional though, and it can be just enjoyed with the basic rule set similar to the Star Wars battle books. The Star Wars book also is a bit deceptive in the way it describes things. I originally got the impression it was box grid based with diagonals and not hexagonal. The math didn't work. I view this very similar to old game ROMs. The only people making money off these now are scalpers, and so doing this, I hope people can experience this. I've been up all night putting this last bit together, and my goal is to have this up today, and I don't. This part will be watched, listened to, so if you actually are listening to this, thanks.